Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today is finally the day we can do accents and feel okay about it because one of our passports is French.
Bon, ça va alors.
If we did not have this passport, this would be considered pretty offensive online, but luckily,
On a le droit de le faire.
on a le droit de le faire. Donc, déjà, bonjour à tous nos abonnés français.
And hello, boys
Welcome.
and girls.
So, we already covered some watches from Japan, and we did an episode that was our favorite independent or micro brands from Japan. Now, we thought we could do the same with France. Now, France has a plethora of super interesting watches coming out, and I would actually argue that France is perhaps one of the best designers, visual designers for watches. When you think of some of the most iconic watch designs of all time, you take anything from Cartier, it's French design. And I think French people have like a very, very, very tasteful. They have a je ne sais quoi. They have a je ne sais quoi.
De savoir-faire.
They have a baguette Tour Eiffel. Okay, so we're going to be talking about French brands. But before that, very quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing what my father gave me about 10 plus years ago now. Can you realize that? This is the Breitling Super Ocean. This was before they changed everything and they were using Tudor movements. And I'm wearing on a Marine Nationale type strap.
You got something French there.
Something French.
There you go. I thought I'd wear something actually French for once. I'm wearing a Yamaha. So this is, the French Air Force watch. It's what some of the pilots wear in the Air Force. You've got lovely kind of their logo there. France at the bottom. That's great rugged watch. It's made for diving as well. It's important when you're flying. Now, I think it's time in the episode where we're going to get an ad about a watch. Because Dad's not wearing a watch on his wrist. So it means...
Oh, merde alors! But don't panic, because I have one in my pocket. And here it is. So we're not actually going French today. We've got a... this is a Weingarten. It was a railway watch. Weingarten was a store in Bishopsgate. They used to make a lot of railway watches, very, very famous. And it just shows that you can still have fun with horology. As you know, wristwatches started with pocket watches being strapped to the wrist. So I think we're absolutely in the caliber, but I thought for something different, that's what it's here. And it's 10:34.
Fair enough. So I guess we'll get the ad a bit later on.
That's very cool. Eliot, are you interested in starting first? What are you bringing to the table?
I'm going to show you something that's beau. And I'm going to show you something that's bleu. And that is Beaubleu. Beaubleu. Oh, let me try this one. Let's put that one first.
Beaubleu. Yeah.
Beaubleu. So this is a brand, not very old, quite new actually, made by Nicolas Ducoubert in 2017. And his way of doing watches is doing watches with like very circular hands. So one of the ideas, and this is from memory, is the circle as being the starting point of any conceptualization of space. And for Nicolas, the hands intertwine, cross, and overlap, thus creating a graphic design in perpetual motion. So, I mean, you can agree with that or not, but it's mainly just circular hands. But I think it's really, really nice in a world where you get, I mean, everything is so standard nowadays, and how designing a watch is. It's always kind of copying one another. You have really nice kind of style there. So you got a nice brushed bezel level. You got sapphire crystal. It has a Miyota movement. Assembled in Paris. Do that information what you will. And I think it's just a really beautiful watch. And for something that's under £1,000, so you're around £600-700, depending if you want on the leather strap or on a bracelet like this one on the Equifigura. That's a French name.
Equifigura.
It's called Egg Figura. I don't know.
Well, it's going to sound more like
Figura. Egg Figura. Egg Figura.
2 words. I will bet you that's Latin for
Something I didn't do
The-
in school.
the face or something like that.
But,
The shape.
really beautiful watches. And so they go by 3 laws, from what they say on their website. So they challenge the status quo. They defend the creative freedom. And they promote sustainability.
Liberté,
No.
unité.
I want you to guess how they promote sustainability.
They source their watches from Japan, which means they need to fly massive jets across the world to collect the movements. And then they will spend more thousands of pounds getting jets from Vietnam to get the straps.
The sustainability is that you get such an attachment on the watch that you pass it on to the next generation.
Ah,
Very good.
Such
Very good. But well, it's worth for Patek Philippe. As much as you get that all this promotion stuff on the website. I mean, because you have to. I think they're really beautiful watches, and for the price, you get something really unique with these hands.
you don't really need a logo on this. You look at those hands, you recognize it instantly as a Beaubleu. What a tremendous job in terms of just a different way to tell time, but so remarkably easy. It's so easy to see the second hand, the hour hand, and the minute hand. And it's a very, very clever way.
Wrong way you said it.
Well, there's a second hand, minute hand, and hour hand. I'm pretty sure there's 3.
Yes, but you pointed out a second, all the minutes. But anyway, I think it's a really cool brand, and you should check it out.
Très bien.
Très bien. Merci beaucoup.
So you guys told me, all right, pick Baltic. Let's do Baltic. Let's talk about Baltic. And I really thought about it, and I think Baltic are fantastic. And I'm really excited to
Great affordable watch.
future potential of going to see them in Paris, having a conversation with them. But I just wanted to highlight for today's episode a watch brand that I don't think many people know. I would argue that actually you probably don't know any of their pieces. You might have known the name, but none of the pieces. And yet they are honestly the Christopher Ward of France.
Oh, okay.
Now, do you know who I'm talking about?
Bellenors.
Nope.
Hermes.
Nope.
Bring it on.
Daniel Wellington.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh no, sacre bleu.
So this is a watch brand called Pequignet. Now,
Ooh.
Pequignet is fascinating. Pequignet was a brand that has lived through the 70s. It was started in 73 in Morteau in the Jura region, so just next to Switzerland. And they've been independent. During the quartz crisis, it didn't go so well. It's very vague on their website, but you know that they closed down essentially. And back in 2010, they restarted. They built a manufacturer specifically in France. In 2011, they produced the first French watch movement, as they say, and they developed 3 movements ever since. They are so well respected that in France, they've got the state label for Entreprise du Patrimoine Vivant, which is a super high standard that you would usually get if you're like selling cheeses or wine, something like that. They got it for watchmaking purposes. So just to talk about a couple of their watches, this watch feels to me very much like the first iterations of the Christopher Ward ones, like the one I've got. It's got a 100-hour power reserve. It's a beautifully finished movement. Most of these are using French patterns that they have. It's going to use mostly pieces or assembly from France, surprisingly, although I would love to actually see in more depth what comes where. And it's 3,600 euros. This is
$3,000.
For this kind of movement, this makes me think of Parmigiani Fluria.
Yeah.
And yet it's
I'm quite surprised with the pricing, actually.
shocking. Now, if you are of the female complexion, you also have some fantastic options. Now, Pequignet, his love is for not only design and watchmaking, but also horses.
Questions?
He's an equestrian.
Question, isn't it?
The equestrian. He sounds like
Horse again.
for 950 euros. Beautiful design. I love that you see the French emblem at the back of it. I love that they
And a nice
embraced it.
creative touch that they put on as well.
And just to show a few more, they have a range which I think is interesting as design. I don't think it's in their top. I think they need to work on it a bit. But again, they're playing with different styles. This one, again, I love the way that they decorated the plate for the movement with that coup de Genève.
Finishing on the back is beautiful. It just looks like a Bellenors in the front.
Agreed. I think they need a bit more work on it. And then the final one I want to show you
You also
because it
spent-
was the piece that really made me fall in love. Now, this is on the higher end. This is 8,000 euros. So you're playing in the Breitling territory. This is, I think, genuinely a beautifully proportioned design watch. And they just hit it on the head. 96 hours power reserve. It's got actually a guarantee of +2, -2 seconds a day. It's their own movement, 39.5. It's got moon phase indicator. Now, just to bash them a little bit, because French people, we're critical people, they also have some god-fucking awful pieces. Here's some of the other pieces in the collection, which is why it makes me think of Christopher Ward. They're going through especially since 2010, this phase of designing out, I think,
That's an IWC.
Mhm.
That's clearly a Lily Standard, and that is AliExpress.
yeah.
Like strap though.
So there you go. So that was my pick. Interesting, no?
Really
Yeah.
interesting. That
No-
shows you how
no
the
Pequignet.
diversity of French brands around. I think they do some great watches.
Pas mal.
Yeah, I think that advertising budget could be increased because they're doing some amazing stuff, their own movements, and yet no one knows about them.
Yeah.
There you go. C'est tout pour moi.
So what do you do in the morning?
Well, I've been given a wake to talk about. Started in 2019 by Lilian Thibault that we met at Hands on Horology. We looked at some of his watches. He actually started off doing watches for NASA and those wonderful dials and meteorite dials. Remember when we all bought a meteorite dial?
What you did watch
A NASA. With a NASA theme. That was his early start on. And now he's kind of moved on. He's a Parigot Tête de Veau Parisian. I think he lives in the south of France now. It's all about art of time and savoir-faire. What I love about this company is they take modern watchmaking, but take really, really ancient kind of 300-year-old mastery. And they've got a lovely range of watches. There's the Silver Leaf Jurassic Park Snake and a Frosted Leaf.
Can we see any of them?
Well, I tell you what, the Frosted Leaf is truly a spectacular piece. To make this, they've taken a little bit of silver, which is an incredibly old way of making dials, and bashed out the silver really thinly. And then on top of that, they put lacquer after layer of lacquer after layer of lacquer, and the depth is surreal. They do talk a lot about sustainability, but I fully understand where they're coming from and their roots. Their roots are about to make you think about nature. Their emblem is about earth, air, sea, and fire. But you really think, you look into this and you're mesmerized by almost going into a forest. And that's where they've done a particularly spectacular job. There's one tree in northern Vietnam. It's called the Rus vernicula tree. And you only get 200 milliliters after 10 years of pulling it early in the morning. And the dial, that sap, you need to really, you basically polish. Add the varnish, next day, polish, add the varnish, polish, add the varnish, and layer and layer and layer to get that incredible complexity. They've done a fabulous job. Lilian, on t'aime, vous êtes génial, ingénieuse, vous êtes beau. Look at that. Now, they've done something really quite interesting. Now, I actually haven't seen this that often, but clearly they've got, a particular movement, which is the Pequignet. But they've put this and that fabulous movement, and it's done especially for awake watches, and they've engraved that on the back, on the exhibition case, which I think is stunning. But that is just a truly, truly remarkable watch from a remarkable company. They're doing some truly incredible things. To have that level of artistry on a dial is truly impressive.
Oh, even the strap.
Bravo, Lilian.
The strap is a collaboration between them and Deluxe.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I
wouldn't put grey on this.
Bummer.
Yeah, grey doesn't work.
Grey doesn't work, but this is really nice.
It's very nice.
That's a beautiful dial, I've got to say. Do you have the... Because the really important, nice thing about Awake is that
The loom is
the hands are loomed out. Is the loom that they have behind all the indices, and it really pops, and I think it's quite unique. You don't really see other brands do it. So you have to find a picture on Google.
Yeah.
No, because Max will put it here, and look at that glow.
Okay. Is there anything you don't like about the watch? Anything that they could do better for the future?
I love the simplicity. I don't like too complicated watches, and I love the fact that you can just look and look and look into this. You can look at the dial and just become completely mesmerized, as if you're diving into it. No two dials are the same.
This is not French enough. You need to be French people, right? With
peu mieux faire.
peu mieux faire.
Exactly.
It's a little bit of peu mieux faire.
So what could they put me with?
Nothing. Do anything different. Just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I don't like the Jurassic. The Jurassic's got like clearly it's got a dial with sort of 3 claws on it, and that's a little bit sort of.
we go.
I think a little bit. It's a little bit. Merde, c'est pas bon. There's not my style. If you're going to do it properly. But this one here, it's just.
Like how we pushed it, and you went too far.
You went too far.
Well,
And now, we can't.
but for those who love the series, then by all means, we should actually, if you do an episode on cartoons and those fun watches, well done, Lilian. Génial.
Very nice watch.
On 10.
Okay.
Beaucoup.
I think I've never heard you say more "I love you" to people you've met once than your own children. You've said like
it was-
4 times to this one.
Yeah,
guy.
I never heard you say that.
It was as love at the first look at his watch.
You don't love your children.
But fantastic. Well, listen, it was a pleasure.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We are sure to do another episode that is Puzzle French, and we will most likely be doing it in France. There's a couple of watch brands that we've been talking to in the background. We're really excited to showcase to you guys. Let's see if in a couple of months we can get something out. That'd be really wonderful. Without further ado, thank you so much, and remember to
Abonne-toi.
Aimé. Like.
And see you guys on the next episode.
Au revoir. Au revoir. À bientôt.
Abonne.